One of the things that was important about the record was making sure that we got the atmosphere right for the recordings. Now, obviously, nowadays a lot of people do file sharing to record the record, and we did a lot of that. But I also thought it was important to get into a studio and do that sort of face-to-face work as well, which is important when you're recording. So I was very lucky that we had a couple of really nice studios to work in. I worked in with John Mitchell at his studio, The Outhouse in Reading, where he's a very welcoming, brilliant engineer, a fantastic guitarist and singer as well. I don't think there's much that John can't do. But it was great to work with him and go to his studio. And the other thing that we did was work very closely with Carl Groom, who did a lot of the engineering and the mixing on the record. And to do the drums, the studio that we used to work with had been sold. And so we called upon Clive Nolan. Some of you may know Clive Nolan, that I worked with very closely on the Jabberwocky and Hand of the Baskervilles albums. And we went down to Clive's house, and Clive's got a lovely, big, huge lounge. And we went there, but he'd only recently moved in there, so there wasn't much heating in the house. So we had a big roaring log fire going in the room where we were recording the drums. It was great, just sort of the drum kit there, the open fireplace, me and Carl with earplugs in. It was lovely. So we had that wonderful, wonderful memory of recording the drums there. And it gave it a real atmosphere for the record. So we really got a lovely feel for the whole record, rather than it being completely sterile and just file sharing across the internet. We managed to create some character as well whilst we were recording, which was really good fun. Because file sharing is great, and I do a lot of it myself. But when you're doing an album like this, sometimes it's nice to have a bit of atmosphere, and we certainly got that.
Oliver said to me, do you want to listen to the mixes as before, that were actually being sent off to the pressing plant for pressing? And I said, no. And he said, really? I said, no. I said, I want to listen to it when I get the actual CD itself. I want to sit down with the artwork, read like the good old days when we had vinyl and things. Read the liner notes, listen to the album, and just take every part of it in, because I hadn't heard 95% of this album. So when I did my parts, Oliver is really just sending me a very bare bones sketch of the song. So it's it could be a piano part or a drum part, or with some orchestration over the top, and that's pretty much what I get. And it's fun when you get to work like that, because you're kind of thinking in the background, what's this going over? What am I playing against? Sometimes you get a bit of a clue. Sometimes Oliver will say, right, in the background it's going to be this, and that, third thing. But in reality, when it comes down to it, half of that will change before it gets to the album. So I've done my part. If Oliver leaves me to redo anything, bits yourself, can you just do a note here? And you're thinking, why? Don't worry about that. Just do that, and I'll put it all together. And so it just comes down to complete trust.
I've been fortunate enough to also record on various other projects for Oliver, including Ravens and Lullabies, the great album he recorded with Gordon Giltrap, and that was a real pleasure to be part of as well. Various other projects in between them, and now of course with Anam Cara, this new release, which was a real treat to be able to play fretted and fretless basses on. Fretless bass isn't something I play a great deal of. It has a very specific sound, but it really suited a lot of the tracks on this new album. And in fact, I played fretless bass on more tracks than I anticipated, which was also a real joy to be able to do.